Hello, I'm Marnita S, the Vice President of Economic Equity and Inclusion here at the Detroit Regional Chamber. This series, which features important voices from the business community, highlights the Detroit Regional Chamber's belief that access to wealth and economic prosperity fosters innovation, attracts talent, and contributes to the economic prosperity of the Detroit region, Southeast Michigan, and Michigan as a whole, ultimately benefiting a business's bottom line. And today, I'm joined by Michael Bickers, Executive Vice President and Regional President, Detroit and Southeast Michigan at PNC Bank. Thank you, Michael, for taking the time to take part of this important series and to lend your important voice to it. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good,
So
good, good.
I want to start off with the question of just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I have been with PNC and predecessors for over 30 years now across a number of disciplines within our company. And of course, today I have the honor and privilege to serve as our regional president here in Detroit and Southeast Michigan. And it's been a great ride thus far, and I'm looking forward to today's conversation.
Thank you. So I'm going to get right into our discussion. And I want to ask from your perspective, why does broad based economic growth matter to the long term vitality of the Detroit region?
You know, I tell you, I think it's impossible to separate the two. I mean, you can't really have vitality without prospering economically. But I would step back before that piece of it and just talk about our ecosystem. So, what we have to have are our companies, large and small, small businesses, schools, neighborhoods, philanthropic organizations. They all have to be given the opportunity to thrive and succeed. And when that happens, that ecosystem therefore sustains its growth over time, which then leads to economic prosperity for the region. But most of all, what it does is attract capital, investment for growth. It attracts talent and retains great talent, but it also means our competitiveness increases. The fact is, we are going up against states and regions with a lower cost of living,
Right.
with significant, Marnita, population growth, and
Mhm.
some other advantages like weather. So we have no choice but to be aligned around continuously improving how we function, how we operate, and therefore how we grow. And then that economic sort of force spreads across our region.
Yes, yes. We don't get the major disasters and everything and when
Correct.
we look at the weather. So that is a plus in attraction. But once you get someone here, we have to have a viable place for to live, work, and play.
That's right.
And that is very important to when we're looking to attract businesses, because with businesses there goes the worker. and
That's
and
right.
the worker has to have a good quality of life.
That's right.
So why do you think that Southeast Michigan is a unique market, and how does PNC tailor its approach to meet specific needs of businesses, neighborhoods, and residents here?
That's a great question. I would tell you that back in the day, if you will, years ago, you had many factions sort of fighting each other. City against city, county against county, county execs against county execs,
Mhm.
and on and on and on. And I think those days are well behind us, where we're all focused now on that singular vision of growing our region and providing opportunity for all. PNC, our role in that is my team and I get to leverage our local decision making autonomy to make smart business investments around our region, to get with the right partners, and to collaborate with the best and brightest, and hopefully, Marnita, along the way, improve communities over time.
Yes, the collaboration across the counties, and my past includes economic development and working with all of the counties and the 11 counties of Southeast Michigan and the city of Detroit. And I have been able to witness the transition into this collaborative partnership that they have, and not a lot of the oh, we want to keep all these businesses in Detroit. We want to,
Right, right,
that is
right.
gone. So that is very complimentary to not only the leaders, but I believe the business community helped foster that too in working, with all the entities. So that's very important.
Very important. You think about the folks around here that are, CEOs and
Hmm.
venture capitalists and startup, the startup arena, if you will. All of those things have been sustained over the past, let's call it 10 years or so in our region. And it's so exciting to see because there's so many transformations going on, especially in and around our downtown, which I would put up against any region out there these days. We
Yes.
simply are bringing a lot of that also as the hard work of you and your teammates at the chamber. So thank you for all of your
Thank
leadership as
you.
well, Marnita.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Can you well, I want as a regional leader, how do you approach complex economic development challenges since we're on that conversation? As a regional leader, how do you approach complex economic challenges while staying focused on the practical solutions that support businesses and communities?
Well, we're good listeners here at PNC, but first of all, I have what I believe is the best banking team around. But they all understand as leaders that they have to be visible, they have to be present, and they have to participate. And they do that alongside a wonderful network of business owners, our own clients, other centers of influences, all of the sort of business leaders in town, all of the investors, and our community residents. So we listen to them again as an ecosystem, and that helps us, sort of informs us around where we can play to try and make a difference. We invest in that, put the resources behind some of those solutions, and then we get in action. But most importantly, we have to execute. We always announce, or most banks will announce, and thank goodness for that, massive investment programs for our city. We all do, and we make those commitments wholeheartedly. But at PNC, we make certain to check against ourselves to make certain that we just didn't sort of get happy about the announcement, which everybody does, but we held ourselves accountable to getting the work done. And as we get into the conversation, I'll be able to give you specifics on why I sort of grade us an A over the last 4 years and all of that work. That's right.
That's great. That's great. So I'm gonna follow that up with, can you share examples of how PNC partners with local organizations, developers, civic leaders, and to support job creation, small business growth, or neighborhood revitalization?
I tell you what, we are so fortunate because, as I mentioned, I've got a highly committed and skilled team here in every discipline there is in finance. And we get to work with fabulous philanthropic organizations, fabulous, local developers, so many foundations, and on and on and on. So, four examples, because we put them sort of in four buckets in terms of
Okay.
where our focus is. The most important, obviously, are children,
Yes.
specifically kids 0 to 5. And so most people have heard about PNC's Grow Up Great programming,
Mhm.
and that's a multi-million yearly effort, probably over $400 million spent over the last 20 years, all vested in kids, their nutrition, their overall well-being,
Mhm.
their early childhood development, their sort of social comfort. All of it is for children. Second, if you take a look, and I know you know about Mary Grove, I know you.
Yes.
We took a former closed college, women's college,
Mhm.
and with the help of the leadership team at Mary Grove, and of course our partners at Kresge Foundation, so
Mhm.
many others, University of Michigan, now
Mhm.
we're past about $150 million in investment, a 53, 54 acre campus of K through 12 learning and pre-K
Beautiful.
with our friends at Starfish right on the campus.
Mhm.
And also with Kresge's announcement that it's moving to the
Yes.
complex, its
Mhm.
headquarters
Mhm.
out of Troy into the heart of our city. So we feel like that alone has transformed a
Huge.
massive part of the Northwest side, the old 48221, which is where I also lived a big part of my life. And we're very,
Okay.
proud of that piece.
Yes.
Third, I would share we, alongside a development company called Micah 6, and again, a host
Mhm.
of other partners, in the city of Pontiac, where those folks took
Mm.
a closed, beloved elementary school, and they have now transformed it with our help and many others into a wonderful community center for the residents
Mm.
of Pontiac. You got to see it once it's open. It's been under
Okay.
development for about, I think, 2 years now. And
Okay.
last but not least, I will call out one of our signature partnerships and sponsorships with the Detroit Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah.
That is a fabulous team, Eric and all those folks there that bring music to our community, to our kids, to lovers of music, to help preserve our culture. So those are four big pieces that we're proud of, and that is what
Mhm.
I would share with you.
And that is, such an impact into arts and culture, into children, and to community. It's just across the board, touching every quality of life aspect that is important for a thriving space, for a thriving city, for a thriving neighborhood. And yeah, the Mary the Marigold project is just amazing. And I'm looking for, I didn't know about the Pontiac thing, so I'll look forward to seeing that. Just yesterday, no, the day before, when the mayor announced her budget, one before the council for her budget, she's talking about opening more of the rec centers again. And so that's also a good focus that aligns with everyone understanding that it's important that we build for the children.
You know,
You know.
I'd have to applaud
Mhm.
Madam Mayor Sheffield,
Mhm.
because her focus is right where it needs to be. You know,
Mhm.
when I grew up and I lived in many places in the city,
Mhm.
east side, northwest
Yeah.
side, you name it. And we always had summer programming. And some of
Yes.
it was to keep people like me who couldn't sit still, keep us out of trouble.
Yes.
But you know, we had intramural baseball and intramural
Mhm.
football and all of
Mhm.
those things, and lunch programming in the
Yes.
summer, which
In the
is always
summer.
helpful
In
in
the
the summer.
summer. Yes.
So we
Rec
always had
centers.
that. Yes. And so
Yep.
to see her and her team, and I met a lot of them, and they're awesome people. Our future
Yes. A good
in
team.
Detroit is nothing but bright. So hats off to her early on and her team as well, because I know they're going to help us continue to get it done. As I mentioned, we're up against places like Dallas and
Right.
Miami and
Mhm.
state of like Arizona. You're up against states who have some advantages, but we do too. And I
Exactly.
believe it goes back to the people, as we talked about earlier. So
Mhm.
that's what I would offer.
So, what role do long-term relationships play in PNC's community development strategy,
Oh,
particularly when you're working with local chambers? Hi, us. We're working with local chambers, nonprofits, and economic development organizations.
it's my favorite part. My job has so many aspects to it. It's sort of like something new and different almost every single day, and that's why I enjoy it so much. So I would tell you, between my, and you know some of them, my executive staff, a lot of their focus is on our relationships and partnerships in the philanthropic, civic, and sports sort of realm, if you will, and they
Mhm.
manage those things. And they also are very tied, well tied, and connected to our community development banking team.
Mhm.
So we're sort of like, you know, again, symbiotic. And then the relationships externally we have with so many wonderful local developers and philanthropic organizations and chambers. So all of that comes together to get things like Mary Grove done, to get the Webster Center done in Pontiac, because we get to work with the best in finance, the best in tax credit knowledge, the developers that are in this first and foremost, to see the city continue to rebuild. We don't have any, I haven't come across a local developer that's in it for themselves. And that is why we love to work with them. And there are just so many. And so we bring our expertise, because a lot of times there are folks who haven't done this type of work. When you start talking about millions of dollars in development, it's not easy. And it takes years to hold together until you see sort of like the end game. And there's so many twists and turns. So we're here, my team is here to help guide them through that, and obviously take part in the financing and so on and so forth. And so that is how we sort of bring our skills, resources, commitment,
Hmm.
passion to get community development done.
For a business leader who wants to contribute meaningfully to the economic vitality of their region, I would say, I always say, or even where their community where they are doing business, what lessons have you learned about what makes community investment effective and sustainable?
Leaders have a big role to play. I will tell you, in my own sort of decades long transformation, you just focus on your career because you're trying to make it. You focus on trying to be the best you can be in what you do because you're trying to make it. A lot of us are first generation college and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of pressure on you. But then you realize you need to participate as you grow. You need to give back. You need to help lead. So I would tell you, all leaders, that if your team has deemed something to be important, then you have to make it important. You have to put the resources behind it, the time commitment behind it. You have to put your best people on it and around it. The fact is, we need the wisdom and strength of all leadership types across Southeast Michigan and certainly Detroit to do their best work in service to our city, in service to our region, in service to our state. That is our, I think, superpower.
I like that. That's really good. That's a quick TED talk right there. Quick, you know, inspiration. I mean, seriously. It and if there was any last thing you want to impart for viewers who will be watching this series about what we're talking about, is there any closing statement that you would like to share?
From a personal standpoint, again, I would just really implore everyone to get involved. I have a saying around here, it's everybody matters, everybody counts. And that's the strength. When you get involved, you start to enjoy, you start feeling like you're a part of something. And I fortunately get to do that with you, Marnita, almost every single day. We're together a lot throughout the year, and to watch you and others do what you do, and to watch others do what they do, the wonderful nonprofit partners we have get involved, Gleaners and Forgotten Harvest. And I
Mhm.
mentioned, the DSO and all
Mhm.
these fabulous teams of people who simply want to help people that need our help. So that would be the first thing. And the second thing is, our commitment at PNC is to be right by you guys' sides, trying to get it done. We will never stop, never stop, never stop. And long after I sit down, I know that'll sustain itself with my successors and other teammates that come behind me.
Michael, thank you so much. Thank you so much because for me, to be able to have these important conversations with leaders such as yourself is really feeding into me as I'm doing this series, and allowing me to be able not only to learn what the organizations that's doing, but I can go out and now say, did you know that at PNC is doing this, and this is what Michael's thought process is behind that, and I love that as being a I should say most of my career has been spent here at the chamber. And so it's all about being able to tell the story of our members. And so what I'm learning through this series is your commitment to the community. I'm learning so much about and today I just learned so much about your philosophy, which is a good philosophy to feed into any organization. So I just thank you so much for your time and your willingness to lend your important voice to this series.
Thank you, Marnita. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate you and the chamber, oh so much so. So thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.